I'm Dana K. White. I am the author of Decluttering at the Speed of Life, and I'm the creator of the No Mess Decluttering Process. I am going to dive in to step 5, the final step of my decluttering process. Here's the beauty of it. You can use any of the steps in any order. So if this is the first video you're watching, there's going to be value in it for you. But the steps build and make each of the next steps easier. If you would like a printable of my 5-step No Mess Decluttering Process, go sign up for my newsletter. It's free at aslobcomesclean.com/5, F-I-V-E, and you'll get that printable. Okay, so let's talk about this final step. It's the last step. It's significant to know that, because at this step in the process, the only stuff left in this space that you are decluttering is the stuff that goes in this space. The stuff that you would look for first here, because you've already dealt with everything. You got out the easy stuff, the trash, the donations earlier in the process with the first 3 steps, the no decision, angst-free steps, right? Then the 4th step, you went through each and every item and determined where you would look for it first. You took it to that place now. So all that's left here is the stuff that is supposed to go in this space. But that doesn't mean we're done, right? Because I had a lot of stuff. I had big amounts of things because I have that personality where I'm like, well, if 1 is good, then 10 must be great, right? So I just had lots of things. So it happened to me a lot that I would have a space that, yeah, I would look for all of it first here, but it's overflowing or it's unusable because it is so incredibly full. So this is the final step. This is the one that achieves what a lot of people, think of as organizing, but we're still just decluttering. We're still just getting rid of stuff. So that's what we're doing here, all right? The step is called Make It Fit, but it does not mean shove it in. It does not mean whatever I can cram in here, I can keep. No, it's making it fit with the space being functional and everything in it being get-toable. That often means I need blank space in there as well for me to be able to reach my hand in and get out what I need, okay? So, make it fit, that's what we're doing. There are 2 parts to this step. Part 1 of this step is consolidate. Put like items together. Now, in my No Mess Decluttering Process, we go 1 item at a time. We've removed all the things that don't need to be in this space. The key to the no mess is that we never pull everything out of the space. We still don't do that at this point in the process. So even though you're putting like items together, that doesn't mean I'm putting them together over here. No, I'm just picking up an item and I am moving it over next to the other items like it. Examples would be, put all your skillets together. Put all of your cheese graters together. Put all of the scissors together and the markers together and all those things. So you're doing this while not pulling everything out, just taking it from over here, putting it next to this one. Oh, there's another one. I'm gonna bring it over here. I'm gonna bring it over here, okay? Here's what happens when we do that. When I consolidate, I am actually looking at the real items and I am touching every single item. Where before it might have been, oh, scissors go in this drawer, okay. But when I pick up each pair of scissors and put it with the other scissors, my brain realizes, oh, I've got 37 pairs of scissors in here. I don't need 37 pairs of scissors. And so after the first 2 to 3, sometimes 7, whatever, I then am picking up the scissors and putting them in the donate box because they've become a donation at that point. All right. So the consolidating, it puts like things together, which makes me touch everything, which automatically reveals donations, and it makes me see and acknowledge how many I have of something, which again often reveals donations. Okay, it makes that very easy when I'm putting things together. When it's just like, yeah, there's a lot of scissors in here, but they're all kind of scattered all around, it doesn't register as clearly in my brain that, oh, I have a lot more scissors than I actually need, okay? So that consolidating is very important. It could also go more narrowed in. So it could be, here's my full-size scissors, here's my fabric scissors, here are my, kids scissors, here are my, whatever. And I'm putting each of those things together, which then reveals, oh, I actually have one pair of fabric scissors, but I've got 12 pairs of kid scissors, and my kids, they all have grown to the point where their fingers won't even fit in those anymore, whatever. But just touching those takes it from just being, oh yeah, scissors, to, oh, how many scissors and what kinds of scissors I have, right? Okay, then part 2. This is where we implement the container concept. This is the embracing of the reality of this space. So if you're new around here, the container concept is the thing that hit me one day that I'm pretty sure is the thing that naturally organized people are born knowing, and they don't know that some of us don't know it, which is why no one had ever explained it to me. But it's the reality that containers are for serving as a limit. They are not for me to shove things in. Containers are meant to be a limit. They're meant to contain, okay? And every space in my home is a container. It's a limit. So every drawer is a natural limit that determines how many of the item that goes in that drawer I can have. So my sock drawer, the size of the sock drawer determines how many socks can I have, and my house stay under control. If it won't shut, I've got too many socks. I need to get rid of my least favorite until it will close, okay? My utensil canister determines how many utensils I can keep. So even though they might be great, I can only keep what will comfortably, usably, get-to-ably, functionally fit in that actual utensil container, okay? So all of the spaces in my home determine how much of something I can keep. And when I grasp that, now this part in the process is key, because I have eliminated anything that wasn't supposed to be in this space. I have consolidated, which probably narrowed down and eliminated even more things from this space. But if I still have too much for this space to be functional, too many things for it to be able to close easily, too much for me to be able to get to the thing that I need to get to, then I am going to purge down to the limits of the container. That's the second part of this step, right? Is purge down to the limits of the space, the container that I'm in, okay? And container can be anything, any kind of a finite space, right? So I am getting rid of my least favorites of whatever it is in this space until it fits easily and functionally in this space, okay? So it's not a matter of I have to pick up every single item and analyze it. We're not doing any analysis here. Okay, remember, my decluttering process doesn't use emotions, and we avoid analysis. We are going on facts, instincts, the reality of our space, all that, okay? So all I'm doing is I'm taking my least favorite. It is easier for me to remove my least favorite because I'm still admitting that it's a favorite. I'm still saying, I like this thing. But the reality of this space is that there isn't enough room for all of this stuff, so something has to go. So this one is gonna go. It doesn't mean that I don't value it. If you watch the video, maybe we'll remember to link to it, where my husband and I were working in our mug cabinet, you can see in there as we're talking, I'm like, I explained this, and he went, yeah, exactly. That's why I'm willing to get rid of it, because I'm not rejecting the item. I'm just accepting the reality of the space. I'm not saying this mug isn't sentimental to me. I'm just saying we only have this amount of space. And that's what we're doing here. So we remove our least favorites until it is functional in this space, okay? So that's how we implement the container concept. That is the final step. Now I wanna say real quickly that sometimes people will say, even though everything fits comfortably, get-to-ably, functionally in this space, it still feels like too much, okay? That is getting into your clutter threshold. So that is something else for us to talk about that I'll briefly mention here in a second, but my advice to you is to not get hung up on that yet. Go ahead and go through the decluttering process. Get the easy stuff out, get the trash out, the done donations, and then go through, ask yourself the decluttering questions about everything, and then, purge down to the limits of the spaces, which is what we're doing here in this 5th step, and live with it for a while. And if it still feels like too much for you, it's more than you can handle, then acknowledge that you have more in this space than you personally can easily keep under control, and declutter some more. Get rid of some more least favorites until you finally get to a point where it's easy for you to maintain, all right? But the reason that I say container concept first is that the clutter threshold is a little more ambiguous, right? That's the amount of stuff that you personally can keep under control easily. You can't find it until you just happen to hit it as you're decluttering. So it's like, oh, okay, and people want to figure out their clutter threshold. I'm like, no. First thing you do is declutter this space for the space, because the space is not woo-woo and something to figure out. The space is the space, right? So we go ahead and do that, live with it, and then get rid of even more if that's what you need. But start by aiming for embracing the reality of the space. And the way that we do that is to go through the 5-step decluttering process. Okay, I hope that's been helpful. And I would love to hear what you've been decluttering in each of these steps as we've been going through these videos over the last several weeks. All right, I will talk to y'all later. Bye.